to introduce our guest speaker today because he happens to be my former head of department and my teacher, Dr. Shrikant Kashikar sir. It is an honor for me because the discipline with which sir teaches his students is very much enormous, and that has inculcated values in us which have helped us in our practice of Shalya Tantra. Sir is a very designated figure in the branch of Shalya Tantra and in Ayurveda and needs no introduction as well. Sir has completed his BAMS and MD Ayurveda in the Department of Shalya Tantra from the University of Nagpur, both from the University of Nagpur. Currently, he is independently developing a startup for drug delivery system for Ayurveda and organ targeting by Ayurvedic medicine, a unique vision of Sir, which now he wants to implement in our science as well. Sir has a vast number of accolades and has been designated to a higher post in each and every department of Ayurveda. Not to mention, he is an ex-head department of Rachna Sharir, FS Ayurveda College, Shikhobabad district, Firozabad. He is also ex-head of department of Shalya Tantra of Yerla Medical Hospital, Kharghar. He was a PG teacher coordinator in Yerla Hospital, Kharghar as well. Sir was a consulting surgeon at Dr. G.D. Ford Foundation General Hospital, Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. Sir was the head of department of Hadapsar College, Pune as well. He is the director, Dr. Dada Gujar Institute of PG Studies and Research in Ayurveda. His total experience accounts to more than 25 vast years of creating many PG students under his belt. Sir is a member, Research and Recognition Committee, University of Pune, member, Board of Studies, PG Clinical, Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, Nashik, and member, PG Board of Studies, Avdesh Pratap University, Madhya Pradesh as well. Sir is the Secretary of National Sushruta Association, Maharashtra Branch, member, CCIM, Subcommittee for Transport of UG or Transcript of UG syllabus into English, and has been an eminent figure in developing the syllabus for UG and PG from CCIM as well. Sir has presented n number of research papers, which if I want to discuss in this lecture, the time would not be sufficient. Enhancement of vascular flow in patients operated with vascular surgery with leeches was a project in collaboration with Department of Microvascular Surgery, Command Hospital and AFMC Pune. Effect of Ayurvedic medicines in Berger's disease, organ-specific targeting by Basti Chikitsa. Initiated 14 clinical trials as director, and PGS YMT Institute completed 7 trials as principal investigators as well. Sir is in the process of writing a textbook for post-graduation students, written 2 chapters in the textbook of Shalya Tantra to be published by CCRAS, which would be beneficial for all the students of UG and PG as well. N number of articles have been submitted by Sir, published by him. He is a research coordinator, ROTP coordinator, chairperson, and many more designations to his name at world-class seminars and institutions as well. Sir has been organizing many communities, various camps for many patients worldwide. Sir has been awarded the Dhanvantari Award for exceptional work in the field of Shalya, Bapurao Patwardhan Sushruta Award instituted by Vaidya Khadiwale Research Foundation for pioneering work in Sandhana Karma, which happens to be his topic today, and many more accolades, along with Sushruta Ratna Award, which was presented to him in 2007. A teacher, a disciplined man who taught us various aspects of Shalya Tantra, not only Shalya Tantra, but how to go about treating patients in a very deliberate and disciplined manner as well. So I thank very much Dr. Shrikant Kashikar sir for accepting our request of presenting his paper in Sandhana Karma. I'll request sir to start his lecture, my journey in Sandhana Karma. Thanks very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Nagvekar sir. Would you please start my camera if you don't mind?
The camera is on, you are visible.
Okay. So today my topic will be my journey in Sandhana Karma. As now already said that I have done 25 years. Actually, it is 28 years if you calculate the PG experience also. And this has been a wonderful journey. So let me start by, okay, if you say to start with, the Sandhan means to join, to bring together, keep together in an anatomical position. This is a broader definition. It can also be translated as construction or plastic surgery. My encounter with Sandhan Karma occurred quite unexpectedly. One of my students, she's here, Dr. Mrs. Kamath is here. She gave me a withdrawn book from British Council Library. The title of the book was Plastic Surgery for Surgeons. That was the name. It was mainly pictorial or atlas type book. It was pretty basic. Flaps, split skin grafts, rotation flaps, etc. And it aroused the interest, and as luck would have it, the patient of amputated fingers came to the OPD. I read the book and operated, and the journey began. Our proud heritage is just if you can get this book. It's a book of plastic surgery written by Mr. Chandrakant Patil from Kharghar, and I have given the references where he has quoted. This is an excellent book which gives an illustration how a soldier whose nose was cut by Tipu Sultan was repaired by a Kumar or a person who was not a doctor in Pune. That was in 1782. So this is something which is extraordinary. So this is the patient that came to my OPD, and when I initially started taking photograph, we did not have mobile camera with photograph. So I had to carry camera all the time. And initially when we started, it was just I wanted to keep and record, because I knew that if you have record, then people will listen to you. But then over the period of time, I'll explain you what happened with those photographs. So this is a flap that has been raised. If you can make out this flap has been raised from the underside of the next digit and reposed here. This is another finger that was repaired. This was a crush injury with multiple fingers amputated traumatically. And then we repaired that also. Then I had some experience of orthopedic also. Then I started wearing, after using K-wire. And then we used to fix fractures, small fractures with a 1.5 mm K-wire or 0.5 or 1 mm K-wire, fix it, and start doing the construction minimally. Then what gave a confidence? This was something, fantastically luck which came my way. If you see the first photograph, here this patient was working in a Ramakrushi company in Hadapsar, and this fellow fell in a bit of sulfuric acid. They have a bit of sulfuric acid, and though he was wearing rubber gum boots, this fellow fell in and had burns. The acid which seeped inside stuck to his skin, and this patient came to our hospital. At the same, or I think the couple of days later, we had this patient coming to our OPD. This was something most unusual. I am sure 95% of the people won't see this. Right? This is a burn by what is called as oil of oleum, or they call it the Lakshrita tail. This is by a very small spray of that oil which fell onto his thighs, and both the thighs, he had burns on both the thighs. And the property of the oil is such that if say 5 ml of this oil falls on your skin from one side, then it comes out from the other side. So it will burn anything and everything that comes in contact. So it's such a corrosive oil that is supposed to be the most corrosive oil that you will ever come across. Then we first debrided it, and when we saw that he had a good granulation, even this patient had a good granulation, then we thought of grafting him. I did not have any experience of grafting till then, but then my colleague and my mentor, I will say in Hadapsar, Dr. Sanjeev Devekar, and myself, he said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And we did grafts, and we harvested, bits and pieces. You can see small bits and pieces of those grafts, we harvested. But then somehow that graft took. It was taken up. You can see graft here also. You can see graft here also, and multiple grafts which took up. And that was enough to give us, impetus. So we laughingly used to, jokingly call it as a postage stamp graft. But then we found out that there is actually what we call it, a title called as postage stamp graft. It's actually a method of putting small grafts and putting it on a burn site. But then I was a bit ashamed that we are taking out small grafts. So what I did is, if you see this is a dressing that is called as offsite. This is the offsite pre-op. So what we used to do, that this was, we used to do it in spine surgery. This was stuck on the operative, peri-operative side, and incision was taken in the center. And it's a very thin kind of material stretched out. It is hardly 1 millimeter. So what I did was, then I started taking grafts from this area. And then after I took the graft, and then we found out that the graft used to stick to this plastic. And then we used to take the whole graft of this area. So we used to get good size graft. So then again, after 10-15 grafts with the help of intrasite, intra-op, we abandoned this practice, and then I started taking graft. If you can see, this is a graft taken without the help of intrasite, of intra-op. This is called incise drape, and you can see the length of this graft. This is a full thickness graft because it was required there. But then you can see appreciate the length of this is almost 8 to 9 inches or more. Whole of the thigh in a single, and you see the blood drops. They are very thin drops. These drops indicate the thinness of the graft. Thicker the graft, bigger the droplet would be. So lesser the drops, then it means that your grafting is excellently done excellently. Then came, we used to get opportunities. We used to cite patients where we could, then this patient came. We did it, then we grafted it also. So as the next patient, he had injury of diabetic hand on the left side. Earlier was the right one, this is the left one. You can see the post-op thing. The earlier patient, this one I don't have his graft, I don't have his photo. But then this patient I came across, and he had excellent 100% take with a beautiful vasculature. If you can make out, see, this is the vasculature, you can make it out. Then, as the time progressed, patient somehow came to know that plastic surgery is done in Saneguti. So this girl came, she was crossing through a barbed wire fence. Kateri Tare's Kumpana. She was trying to cross, and her earring got caught in that barb. And when she pulled, then it got torn. You can see, appreciate the bone here, cartilage you can make out, and the whole ear is torn. So then we operated her, and you can make out, see, you can see. You can see it here, see. This is something perfectly anatomically done. And then I gained expertise in grafting, then थोड़ा confidence भी ज़्यादा हो गया. So then I started looking for more difficult cases. So this patient is actually relative of the teacher in Saneguti Hospital, Ayurveda College, Hadassar. He brought me his mama, and he showed that this is a localized commercial carcinoma, which is a localized entity. What we did is we did a wide local excision, and post-operatively, after operating, we grafted it. And after 3 years, that patient again came to show me, and this was something that was the result. So it's a very gratifying result. There is absolutely no recurrence. Skin margins are clear. So that means whatever we are operated was done excellently. This is something, very rare to find. This patient, again a student of mine, she came, she had a burns on her arm, forearm, and it was grafted by a very famous surgeon in Pune. And after grafting, when she grew up, it became a bad scar. So what I wanted was that if I could operate, she came to me, sir, can you operate? I said, okay, fine, no problem, we'll operate. And then when I operated, then this one, we did complete surgery of the patient. Then again, some different cases that came, there was small injury to the nose, then I operated it, and it became a perfectly good nose also. So that was not an issue. So then these kind of small cases, they give you a bit of experience also, confidence also. Then I grafted about 500 plus burns patient, but then I sadly lost all the images and my hard drive is missing. Anyway, the trauma was and is always interesting. I was always fascinated by trauma because one trauma is not like other. That is the beauty of it, and it is every single case a unique case, not like previous and not like what will come next. So it is also testing. Testing for the surgeon, it is testing the bones, vasculature, anatomical knowledge, nerve knowledge of the neurological knowledge of the surgeon, and plus on decision making capacity of the surgeon is tested on the table. So I was always, very on my toes. I used to study a lot. I always revised when the patient came to the hospital and we had to prepare him for surgery, do testing and all. In such cases, then I always used to revise anatomy and physiology. It's a good habit. I tell you always that. And I always instructed students to come prepared before the surgery. Lot many students have been scolded for not studying anatomy or surgical anatomy of the patient before coming to the operation theatre. Many were sadly sent out for not studying. So this is a varicose ulcer skin graft, and the specialty is that if you look at this area, then you will find that this patient has leukoderm. So we did not know how the skin will behave after we taken graft, because varicose ulcer are, the long-standing patients. They are not not short-term patients. They are always long-term patients. So such patients were came, and then what we did was that we took him up for grafting. So this was the type of thin graft that we took. We have taken this graft and then look at the results. So excellent 100% take up. The skin color was matching. There is hardly anything, and it is very gratifying because in varicose ulcers, as you all know, that vasculature is a bit of a problem because circulation is not good, and that's why the ulcer occurs. Plus, most of the time, these such patients, they will have some underlying morbidity, comorbidity or other. Then again, coming to trauma, this patient was cutting with a chainsaw. He was cutting a tree, and that chainsaw jumped and sliced his shoulder. You can appreciate his luck because all the major structures were on the medial side of his side, so they have survived. This full video is about 3.5, so I just showing you pictures. Here, we are two of us work. Dr. Sushil Padave is the orthopedic surgeon, and myself. So I told him that you look after the bony part or the fixing of the fracture, because obviously I can't. I was not expert that time that I could know. So this was the humerus, and here is the head of humerus, and this is the musculature. So Dr. Sushil very kindly just fixed the bone and left the musculature with me, and then we did it. Again, as I said, burns is another interesting part of my journey, and I am very intrigued and challenged by bone fracture. This lady was a nurse in YMT, nurse or I think Maushi or somebody. So she had these burns. So somebody told him that Naveen sir at तिथे ते करता त्याचं operation. So she came to us, and this is the result. Normally it takes around 2 to 3 times that or the number of times 2 or 3 times you have to operate. What is called as serial release. But fortunately with Z-plasty we could release her in one shot, and now this hand is totally functioning and normalized. So it is fully extended now. This is the first left lip that came to. I was always, very much scared of lips because babies are first thing, and repairing a lip was always a challenge. Then I used to go work with Dr. Pandit, who is a renowned plastic surgeon in Pune. So I went to him, assisted him, typed in cases, then came back, and then this patient came to me, and then we operated him. And you can see this is called as Cupid's bow, and this eye is almost normalized. So this was something, very gratifying case. These are again babies. This patient I operated. This one also operated. I did not operate this because he had a complete palate. So this is something, extremely rare case that very few of us are lucky even to see. This patient was born in Sanegurchi and came to us with a fused, he was referred to me by gynec, with a fused hand. If you can see the fingers here, they are totally fused. This baby is hardly 4 or 5 months old, and then I operated on this patient, and then you can see here all the fingers were released, and then we had some device to keep his fingers stretched and functional, and this baby again has, to be very frank, has worked fantastically. Contractures and releases. This is one of the difficult procedures and should be performed only after you have, excellent, vision of how the things will look post-operatively. No two patients will be alike. Degree of difficulty is always high. Imagination as to how they look how the limb or neck would look post-operative is to be engraved in the mind of surgeon. This has to be, one has to be imaginative. And why Indians are good? Because we are a imaginative lot. This requires infinite patience. The earlier this fellow I had shown, I had to remove his stitches almost 11 times to get an exact alignment. So you have to have infinite patience. This I wanted to show. Actually, this is a video, but I don't know why. Just give me a minute. I'll try and sort it out. Or I'll show the video later on after I finish all my cases. Right? So be patient with me. Yeah. Yeah. This is the squamous cell malignancy. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you can see this when I look at it now, this was I think operated 2006 or 7. Then that time I was very new to this all oncosurgery and even plastic. If you can combine that knowledge now, I would not put stitches this way. I would hide these stitches because what happened later on is that lady used to complain that when she bites, then that thread comes in her mouth. So that is one way, one thing you learn. You learn from your mistakes. Here you can see this stitch. You can see this one. Here, if you see, this thread is not can be seen going inside the mouth. So So what? Please ignore that voices. The background music should not be taken into account. So what you learn from such cases is that when I look back, I would tell my students not to do stitches like that. I would hide the knot rather. Again, this is a different case when the sister, scratched the face of a baby brother and he had a keloidal tendency. So we did cauterization and, Rishi,
Yes, sir.
हॅलो ऋषी मला किती वेळ आहे माझ्याकडे
Sir, I. You can continue. Half an hour.
ओके
Yes,
okay
sir.
okay and this is going to be a longer one so we just excise the whole scar tissue and then align the whole face again so this is again a challenging job to be said this is again trauma where you can see the whole of the bone being exposed tarsal metatarsal being exposed and multiple fractures so such cases have to be one has to be very careful then we debrided it cleaned it and then grafted it. Here the person who is assisting me is Dr. Gadre. He is now associate professor in Hadapsar and he is a wonderful surgeon himself. So that time he was very new and he was there to assist me. Because this wound is, deep and what we have done is a full thickness graft. So till the full thickness graft was done. So this is how we went about that case and ultimately it healed excellently. There was minimal scar tissue on that. See, this is Sofra-Dule dressing which we did afterward. This is again a patient with coronal hypospadias. I just wanted to go to the this surgery is not coming up. Some of this is not working. This patient again is a very fantastic patient. One day I was very good with the policemen around Kharghar. So they brought me a patient who had him stabbed himself. He had multiple stabs on this and you can see the depth of the wound. It's completely inside. You can see the this is a good practice to mark an horizontal line on the scar, so that what happens is that you know where to align after suturing. When it comes to suturing, most of the time the angulation is lost. So you tend to stitch, improperly. So it is always a good habit to have, a good transverse marking on a vertical incision. Please enjoy the video. Come to you later on. I remember Dr. Desai was there with me to help me out. In fact, he is such an experienced surgeon that it is always, two heads are always better than one. Yeah, you can see the perforation here by that knife. You can see it here. Here is the perforation. He had multiple three perforations, I think. 3 stabs and 3 perforations. But the miracle is that by God's grace, he had missed all his, vital organs. Otherwise, he had just reached near the inferior vena cava, and 2 inches more, and he would have been dead on the spot, and we could not have done anything. But then, such patients do come to your, you have your fair share of such patients. and then once you operate them, then it becomes an memory. This is a excellent memory that one has. I'm just trying to show this again if possible. Yeah. This is the patient that I operated in YMT, and then my anesthetist then, Dr. Mukund Naik was there. He said, "कि sir, आप क्या operate करते हो? What kind of cases you operate? You are a combined package. Because I used to do ortho also, I used to do general also, I used to do plastic also. Then I did some couple of these patients also, urology. So urosurgery I did. Hypospadias, this was a coronal hypospadias. The Dean Dr. Sanjeev Yadav, his patient had attended. He's a young boy, around 14-15 years of age, and then he had a coronal hypospadias, but no body. He had didn't have any body. So we operated that patient, and initially I expected that I would not be able to operate him in one go, as the coronal was pretty low down. But then fortunately we operated him. You can see it. I'm going just fast forward because I have to show you just want to show off all my cases. Then our circumcision was also partly done. You can see this is the closure. This was, I think, recorded on a mobile phone, if I am not wrong. Yeah. This is how it is kept. It is kept straight with a catheter or a feeding tube. Just keep it there. This is how you operate a hypospadias. This I shall be shown. This was a case which came to YMT. This patient, she had a massive mammary gland, and they used to rub on the lower side of her skin, and she used to get a bad infection. So she came to YMT and got operated. So these are the pre-operative ones. You can appreciate the fungal infection here. They're all fungal infection. This is how you have to mark what needs to be excised and what needs to be close together. Then nipples were reconstituted, and you will see that from the initial image, if you remember, then the breast fold will come here, and this area will stay away, and she will not have any breasted rubbing also. So weight we have reduced the weight. We have reduced the source of infection and cause of infection also. Look at this fungal infection side. So this is again slightly higher scale. When the patient come to you for a cosmetic surgery, so that she had a size 42 mammary gland or breast, and she wanted it reduced. Actually, her husband wanted to get it reduced, so he said, "Okay, we want it reduced," and this is how we operated, and this is the last image before closure that we see. You will see perfectly normal position. You can see the amount of tissue, and the beauty is that look at this size of the areola and the nipple. This was proportionately reduced, and it was placed perfectly in center. So that is what I said, that we need to visualize what exactly the patient is going to look like post-operatively. So that imagination has to be in your mind when you start operating. Okay. okay, this is a crowning glory of mine, and I'm extremely proud of this case. And what can I say about this? That this was a baby who was around 4 months or 4 5 months old. He had an appendage, if you see, appendage here, then malformed tragus here, and a bit of tragus here. So he had tragus in three places, malformed tragus. So it was malformed, and plus he had an appendage on the cheek. So initially when I started operating, when I planned to operate him, I said, okay, we'll just excise this out, and after the excision, what we will do is that we'll do a circular stitching, just like we do in appendix. So that was the initial plan, and then we said, okay, we'll excise these appendages also, so that whatever smaller tragus looks like, it's okay, perfectly acceptable. But then when actually I started operating, the fun started happening. Now if you can appreciate, when I pull this appendage, you can see that orbis scleraris oris was attached to it. So if you cut orbis scleraris oris, that forms a hideous type of scar in the face, which I did not want. So what I did is, I separated till the place where the orbis scleraris was attached to this appendage. So then what I did is, you can see that this is the orbis scleraris oris musculature. Now the video quality is poor, but then if you pull this up, now if I pull this up, you can see that it is forming an pull on the face. So that means 100% orbis scleraris muscle has been put in the, or I am holding it in the artery forceps. So then and there I decided that I will try and form a dimple on the face. So that is the beauty of it. That was the time when I decided on table, okay, I will try and make a dimple. So we hitched it. We did a hitching, what is called a hitching mechanism on that muscle, and undermined that muscle to the lower border of the orbis scleraris oris. And what later happened is that it became a slightly, you can see that now this is hitching the base of the orbis scleraris oris. Now this whole wound will come together. You can see it now. So what was a bigger looking wound now becomes a very small wound because of that hitching, and the patient develops an excellent dimple here. So this is, I don't have the post-operative photograph because that time I did not have my camera. But then when I saw that baby later on, that this dimple looked so cute that I am myself happy at myself. I'm very happy that, okay, I have been instrumental in doing such a case, and it has, helped that young baby. So we totally undermined that, and then we moved over to the, like I said, the malformed tragus. Then I got an idea that, okay, this part is a bigger one, tragus is very small, this is just appendage that I cannot adjust. So what I did was, it had a lot of hair also, voluntary genes must be adding. So what we did was, we just freshen up the edges. See, this is the marking that is done, and after, okay, this is how we marked it. This is our skin marker. This mark was done, this was aligned, and we planned to approximate it on this malformed tragus. So then we started with it. Very appreciated. This was raw area that we made on both sides. So this is the donor area, this is the receptive area. We made raw edges on both sides, and then we put this flap of the tragus, which was bigger in origin, more triangular shape, on the main tragus area here. Now you can see that now slowly this flap will be kept on this. This is all separated, and this raw area, we put it together now. See, this is X-ray. The redundant skin or the extra skin on the original tragus we separated, and this thick muscular area here, we just repose on this area. So a sort of flap was done on the tragus. So and the beauty is that such procedures are not mentioned in the books. So this is all just improvisation that you learn when you are operating. So then we took the end-to-end anastomosis was done of the flap. So this angle was stitched to this angle. So we made a flap sort of surgery and reposed, and you can see how approximation is done. Simply perfectly approximated flap edge or for the piece of flap or the redundant appendage here, which was extra. We used it to cover it as a flap. We excised this area, made it raw, and then put this flap here so that baby can have a normal air. Then we just excise it out. So this extra appendage which was here this one, we just excise it out so that it becomes a normal. Okay. So when we ensured that there was no bleeding or the bleeding vessel was very small, minimal, so then we just excise it out. So there was nothing to worry about as such. Okay, I just wanted to say, if possible, I was just wanted to show you that scar revision. Yeah. So excising whole thing was not the idea because you cannot relax or realize or bring it together. So what we did is that this liquid that I am pushing, that is normal saline with Hyalase. So what it does is it separates the tissue from the base. So you have less amount of bleeding. Because if you bleed too much, then the cosmetic purpose is lost. Okay, so Hyalase is used by ophthalmic surgeons. I had seen them using that because it allows that fluid to move everywhere. So it just lifts the tissue from the base. So what we did was that we almost, this is how it is. See what, this is we all exercise. I'm just going fast forward because time is a constraint for me. See, this is all detail.